Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to this really cool presentation for our training today. So I've been spending some time on AI, as you know, ChatGPT. And here, I went to bed thinking about mental imagery. I told you this morning before we started the recording, the podcast that MJ has, the one where he talks about the cards, the mental success tracks cards. And in my mind, and when I was waking up this morning, I was thinking mental imagery, mental imagery, mental imagery, how important that is. And then I came up with this question. Oops, this question. MJ Durkin's mental success tracks and Avini University training are epic. However, I'm not sure if everyone on my team are getting the most out of this wisdom. All it really takes is to listen again and again to his podcasts and do the mental imagery he suggests with the cards people create, right? You write your cards. It feels like there's a gap. Self-motivation. He talks about self-love is why 90% of the people might not succeed. Is there a tool I can share that would help people utilize his work better? Something's missing. First of all, raise your hand if you agree. Do you agree that there's something missing? Yeah. Why is it that people aren't listening to these podcasts over and over again? I find them so inspirational, and I listen to the same podcast over and over again because I hear something different each time. And when I hear something different, I go, oh, that's a mind explosion. That's an inspiration. That's something I need to know. I needed to hear in this moment. And knowing that when you go back to listen to these different podcasts, you're a different person than when you heard it the first time. You are different. You're more receptive to something that you weren't receptive to before. So my take on this is there's something missing. Why aren't people listening to the podcast? What's going on here? And then I thought, well, people are listening over and over again, and that really worked for MJ. In his story, he talks about how he first got started. When he went into trainings, he was recording everything. He was recording it so he could listen to his trainings, the trainings he was participating in, over and over and over again. And his learning was exponentially fast. That's what we want, fast learning, because he embodied it. He really took it to heart and he began using it, but he heard it over and over again. And then I thought, well, hearing it is great. But what I woke up with is mental imagery, mental imagery, mental imagery. Are people able to create mental imagery in their mind that they can embody? That was my question, basically. And so I think what's missing for many people isn't information, right? They have access to incredible information. And of course, Avini gives us information and MJ gives us information, and that kind of flows over us, maybe through us a little bit, but are we really capturing it? And so the missing tool isn't more training, and I agree, it's not more training, it is embodying it. And so ChatGPT knows me, knows my work, and says, you're already doing a lot of this, right? But it's a guided ritual. So right here in this part of the page, more like a guided ritual for identity alignment. So this is how Marilyn starts her day. She said, she says an affirmation, right? I am, or whatever she's doing. She's starting her day that way. And so some people read their cards, right? This is why MJ told us to create our card deck, in colors, bright colors, to attract your interest in the mind, to help inspire you. And do something midday, do something in the evening. And that assumes, if you're doing something morning, midday, evening, that assumes that you're really entrenched in this whole Avini culture and this culture of mental success if you are doing something consistently multiple times every day. I would venture to say that most people are not. Nod your head up and down if you agree. Most people are not doing something consistently multiple times a day. Right. Okay. So, uh, when I said that MJ, one of the big highlights on that training that I got from that is 90% of the people are deficient in self-love, according to MJ. This is the foundation. 90% of the people are deficient in that they are saying things to themselves, I'm not worthy, right? I'm too old. I'm not enough. And even if you're not saying it, you might believe it. I'm not enough. I'm not worthy enough to talk to this person. Oh, they're much better than I am. And I heard you say, oh, she is much higher than I am. No, 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 no. She's high over here. You're high over here. Different paths. You're both there, right? Everybody is worthy. Everybody deserves abundance. And so they listen to success material while emotionally rehearsing failure all day long. Oh my God, what a powerful sentence to consider, that we actually rehearse our failure all day long. Wow, wow, we're rehearsing it. We have embodied failure to some degree. Whether somebody is telling us that or we are telling ourselves that, it kind of doesn't matter. We're rehearsing the failure. Oh, I didn't get to do that. I didn't finish that. I didn't do whatever. I don't know enough. Okay. So the 5 minutes to align, the purple practice, that's my living in the purple deck. Um, and after that, I thought, okay, let's have some fun. Mental imagery, remember, is what I woke up with this morning. I said, let's have some fun. Let's make a card of me for me being successful as an Avini Diamond on stage. Are you ready for this? Woohoo! So I gave it 3 pictures of me. Here's the first picture it created. Look at that. Isn't that fun? AI generated. So I had to do some corrections. I said, that's pretty good. Great, love it. But let's make the colors in Avini better. We've got to have the logo in there. I gave it the logo, and then it put it in the background. And that's me on stage as an Avini Diamond. I think I'm going to download that and have it on my phone. Do you think that will help me in some way? I think so. And here, let's see, one more I gave it. Yeah, I told it cool with this one. I told it cool, so it made the colors cooler. And then I said, I want to be shown on stage giving a presentation. So there I am. Somebody's in the audience looking at me on stage giving a presentation. And that's how I see myself. Does that sound like fun? Yes. Okay. Go ahead and unmute if you like, and I'm going to stop the share. Stop share. Was that kind of fun?
Mm-hmm.
All right. More to talk about regarding AI. As Bev sent me, she sent me a document that I printed out. I'll give it to you if you want. I'm going to send it to you also. You may or may not be ready for it. Kind of like the podcasts. When you hear it, maybe you're ready for it, maybe you're not, but you go back to it. right? And then you're ready for it later. So I'll go ahead and give it to you. The pathway in here, it says setting up your custom AI workflow. Would you agree that as an Avini distributor, it's a good idea to have some kind of a plan, a method, a sequence in place, something that you can follow that would help you be organized and follow up? And do you think that would be a good idea?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you are doing an Avini business consistently, then it might be a good idea to have a plan
Mhm.
and to begin implementing something, right? So MJ in his later podcasts are really getting in the idea of call 10 people a day. Well, maybe not. Maybe you don't have to do that. Maybe you do. Maybe that's fine. You can send 10 messages a day, 20 messages a day. That's that's for the person who is so focused on outreach, outreach, outreach. I am not saying anything against MJ, but I am a believer in attracting. I love to attract people. And how do we attract people? We become visible. How do
Mhm.
you become visible? Well, I'm going to teach you that. How do you become visible? And it's more than being visible. It's also knowing how to interact with people, interact in the moment and follow up with people. And how many times do you follow up? And is it with intention, not nagging follow up, but you see that they are ready for the next step and you offer the next step to them. But you might not know what the next step is. You might not know what that is. So some of it comes from your heart, your gut, you feel into what the next step is. And some of it is just good ideas that people are telling you of how to use what might be the next step for you. So I'll go ahead and send it to you. It
Mhm.
may go right over your head, maybe not. Maybe you'll get one thing from it, and that's fine. Just get what you want from the document and print it out, highlight something on there that you like. I don't necessarily agree with everything on here. Define your business goals first. Well, no. How about outline your desires? What do you want? Most people don't know what they want. So
Mhm.
figure out what you want. But on here it says define your business goals first. Jim Rohn said in one of his recordings is you need to set the sail. If you're a sailboat out on the ocean and you haven't directed your sail on where you want to go, you're
Mhm.
just going to be adrift. You're going to go wherever the wind is pushing you, right? But if you set your sail, if you say out loud and you embody what your desire is, if you have a mental image of your desire, then it's clearer what you want. You are embodying what you want. You're telling the universe what you are ready for so that you can be attracting it. You're going to start attracting in a different way. You're going to attract those people that you haven't heard from for 10 or 15 years, and they're calling you out of the blue. And as MJ says, there's no such thing as out of the blue. There's the energy of we're all connected. And that's why it's happening, because you're connected energetically. When you put yourself out as the antenna to attract, people will call you. If you are radiant and ready to go, and you have your desires in your heart, and you know what they are,
Mhm.
you know what you want, then you are going to attract people who need that, who want that, who want to be associated with you. So that's actually step number one is know what you want and write it down. That's why MJ has these cards that he talks to us about, the mental success tracks cards. Write it down. There's something that happens when you write it down. You make the connection between your brain and a physical manifestation of writing it down. And if you make it beautiful and colorful, you you put it into ChatGPT and upload it to your phone, and then you've got it. You've got the image on your phone. And and that becomes a setting of the sail for you. You set your sail. Yeah. Um, that's what I wanted to say about that. The daily practice and the embodying, the frequency. We talk about guiding people on how to use Cell Defender, for example. And we say, you just need a squirt, you just need a few drops, but often, right? We say often. Why do we say often with Cell Defender? Because that's how it works in the body. It doesn't metabolize, so it's going to go through and then it's done. Goes through and then it's done. So frequency is important. And I would say if you are taking your Cell Defender frequently, have a mental image of your desire just as frequently. What if you combine the two actions together? What if you combine your consumption of Avini products with your desire at the same time? Wow. Now you're embodying the products to change your physical body and you're aligning your mental imagery at the same time with your desires. Does that make sense? Wow, that
Huge.
that was a great tip. I
That's great.
I love it. I just, ooh, that's a good tip.
Yeah, baby.
Bringing it
Repeat
in.
that, would you?
Yes, okay. So
I'm glad you recorded.
how often are you taking Cell Defender? Anybody? How
4
often?
times a day.
How
Four
many?
times a day.
4?
Star is doing 4 times a day. Patricia,
Uh,
how often are you taking Avini products? Twice a day?
Well, the capsules are easier to remember.
Uh-huh.
The Cell Defender, I can, yeah, that I some days I miss it. Other days I'll do once.
Okay, I think these are aligned here. Put your Cell Defender and your capsules and everything so that you're doing it consistently at least 3 times a day,
mhm.
maybe four. I have bottles all over the
Me
house.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one in the kitchen, one in my purse, one in my gym bag, one in the car, one by my sink, one by my husband's sink, and yeah, that's pretty
Yeah, I'm
much it.
all over.
I have them all over because I want it to be convenient and easy
Visible.
and ready to use and yeah, visible, so I can remember to take it. So how often am I taking my stuff? Yeah, probably four. Oh, and one on my office desk. Yeah, so often, maybe even 6 times a day, I'm taking
Mhm.
those drops. So now what I'm suggesting is every time you consume Avini products, consume your mental imagery, embody your mental imagery of your desire. What do you want? Do it at the same time.
It just struck me. If I'm taking Cell Defender to get rid of the negative things in my body, it's also getting rid of my negative thought that, oh, gee, who's going to buy this or, whatever. I like that idea. It just hit me like
Yeah.
that.
And you can put a drop right here on the top of your head to
Oh, cool.
open
Yeah, right on
your,
your third eye.
you can put it
On the
on your
third eye?
third eye. You can put it on the top of your head
Hmm.
for your,
Yeah.
yeah, for that chakra, for opening the energy to come in
Yeah.
from
Cool.
source. Yeah, you can anoint yourself with with these basically holy water, right? It is so clean, so pure. It is Earth's detoxifier. So why not put a little in the palm of your hand and anoint yourself, anoint your throat.
Mhm.
Everything I say is beautiful, stunning, and complimentary. My heart is open. Anoint your heart. Anoint yourself with Cell Defender because it is pure energy. It really is. It's like holy water to me because it has been so cleaned. It is so ready to go, so ready to interact with your body to clear out all the bad stuff and allow the good stuff to come in. So, what a beautiful way to align and embody practice with your mental imagery. That's where I wanted to go today is what is your mental imagery and how can you embody it?